Wiebe is here. So please invite him down.
The question is, what was it like to see yourself on the big screen? Okay, it looks like Derek doesn't really want to answer that.
Kind of embarrassing. I don't know how Derek would feel.
Yeah. Derek, you want to say anything? Okay. I was a little mortified with that one scene, as you can imagine. Oh. I don't think they heard. Oh, he was a little mortified with the one scene where my record attempt where he has some special needs and I'm neglecting it. So,
Does Mario save the princess eventually?
Actually, at the end, it's the kill screen is what you saw on the tape where you're just walking along and you just die after about 7 seconds into it. It's like a bug in the game. So.
Steve discovered the kill screen in college at UW, thought the machine must be no good, so he sold it for $200. Only to learn 20 years later that he was one of 2 guys in the world that had ever seen it.
Was it worth it? I think it, yeah, in the end it turned out what I was hoping for. You know, I was thinking the truth would prevail. I went through all this frustration and at times I felt like packing it up, much like these guys probably along the way of doing the documentary felt like they're going to pack it up. So we both stuck it out and we both came up on top.
I just want to know if you feel like you won.
I do feel like I won.
Thank you so much.
You guys are way too kind. Man, that was emotional for me. That's great. I'm glad everyone could come out here and support the festival and the film. I'm glad did you guys enjoy it? Well, I enjoyed it too. Great to have an energetic crowd watching it and see your reactions. While earlier in the day, he gave me a call.
I didn't know about this until just yesterday, so this is my first time seeing the movie. I loved it. I loved it.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just open it to questions. Well, it might come to as a shock to some of you, but we had a falling out. So I haven't talked to him. How's Billy doing?
Billy's doing great. Talk to him.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he texted me during the movie. So.
Yeah. So I wish Billy well. I don't know. Any other questions? Right here.
Has Billy had any live scores in the race he's had?
I haven't heard of any live scores. How about yourself?
The last live score I know of was Perfect Pac-Man in 1999. Bill's a great friend of mine, and you know it's a great movie. Just remember, it's a movie. So.
How long did it take you to practice to get to that level?
So ever since it came out in '81, you know, back when they had the machines in 7-Elevens and the pizza places. So, you know, from then on, I had a machine also in college, which I bought and put in my fraternity room, and I really honed my skills then. And then I sold it, and then when I realized, you know, what can I do to cheer myself up and go after this, it took maybe not very long to get back on the bicycle.
You know, we have that in common. I had a Donkey Kong in my dorm here at Mizzou back in '82.
You did?
So, yeah.
Cool. Oh, yeah. You know, don't model my parenting skills, okay? If you want to know how to play Donkey Kong, come to me. If you want to know how to parent, you might not want to come to me. But yeah, it's kind of funny that, you know, looking back on it, you know, maybe I should have wiped his butt, you know. But he survived. Everything worked out.
I've got 4 boys. I'd have kept on playing.
Steve Sanders, how do you feel about how you were portrayed in the movie?
Fine. I loved it. I mean, it was accurate. Yeah.
I think in the end here, he saw how that, you know, he believes I'm an honest person. So I think.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you heard me say that. Listen, I've been Billy's friend since the day he shellacked me in Ottumwa, Iowa, and I'm his friend today. That doesn't mean I don't respect Steve Wiebe for his obvious greatness. So.
Thank you.
Preparing preparing for this, about how many hours a day did you play?
Well,
Nicole answer that?
I hate to even come clean on that. It's kind of embarrassing how much time I've devoted towards this game. But actually, last summer when I got the 1,000,049, I was out there for a month, for about 4 hours each day, 2 games. You know, I play about 2 or 3 serious games. And then the day that I got the record, she was about up to her ears in just Donkey Kong. So I came out of the garage and she was coming down the stairs, and I was like, "Hey, I got the record." And she was, just before I said that, she was about ready to say, "You're out of the house," you know. So it's kind of like a very good timing that when I got the record, I'm glad I did it when I did it, because I was probably done.
As a filmer, Ed, or as a film person, it must be very scary to go out into a film and wondering how this is all going to fall together.
We chased a lot of different stories. There was a story going on with Miss Pac-Man, a guy from right here in New York who's a Jamaican immigrant who has this like Zen quality when he plays Miss Pac-Man and can actually control the fruit that it sends out, apparently. I mean, so there was all these other stories that we were chasing, but every time we either went to visit the Wiebes or went to these tournaments, it just became so clear that Steve was not going to give up, that they had taken from him more than his high score. And in the end, we really didn't know what story we were getting until that tournament in Florida, when it became very obvious that this was not, and he has the line where he says, "It's not even really about Donkey Kong anymore." And that's when us as filmmakers really turned and said, "Wow, it's not." And then all through the summer, last summer when we edited, that was how we wanted to present the story, is it became more than just who was the best in the world at Donkey Kong. So it was really neat to watch that transformation happen.
Was the original tape of his high score ever seen?
Yes, it was verified at FunSpot.
The question in the back was the original tape ever seen?
Oh, okay.
It was verified at FunSpot, and then months later, it was carefully and officially verified by Robert Merkschek, who initially didn't like that it got approved so quickly at FunSpot, but then they went carefully, painstakingly through it, and I think it was MTV.com, he did a official pronouncement that it was an accepted score. Yeah.
I think the complicated part about that and what we tried to present was, as witnesses to that going on, Billy's a great gamer. There's just no two ways about it. The guy is a great gamer. And we believed that he could get that score, but what was just mind-boggling to us was the difference in due process between the two gamers. And there's reasons behind that, but for us as witnesses to that, it was confusing that one guy was being treated so differently than the other. And that's kind of what we were hoping to present.
I was curious if you were much of a gamer outside of trying to set high scores in the arcade venue.
No, that's the kind of crazy thing, that I'm really not involved with that world. It's kind of like an outsider that happened to be in love with Donkey Kong. And I have another game I like which is Donkey Kong Jr. But pretty much I don't get into the new age, like the Xbox and home console things. If I did, I think I might risk spending too much time there, so I don't want to even test those waters. So.
How about Donkey Kong Jr. Math?
That would be a good one. Since I teach math, maybe I can incorporate that into the curriculum.
Hey, so you're going to come back next year with your first comic book.
I got a comic book coming out. Two comic books. Look at my website, shockandawesome.com. Write it down. Shockandawesome.com. Shockandawesome.com.
Okay. Steve, your answer? I don't have any plans right now, but I don't know. We'll see what Roy comes up with.
And also, I was curious if you got a chance to interview but couldn't show with the creator of Donkey Kong, Shigeru Miyamoto, if you had a chance to...
We tried. He is a very hard to get to guy. If the title's the King of Kong, he certainly is one of the kings of Kong, because he's the guy that invented the game, and he went on to be just a legend in arcade design and game design. And we tried to meet with him. We'd actually just love him to see the cut.
How do you get such incredible access to people to tell their stories and to film things that ordinarily never get seen? I mean, that's a stock question, but I'd like to know how you guys did it.
Seth and Luis have a company, production company, that they have a lot of equipment, and so we literally have, last count, Clay, like 350 hours of raw footage.
We visited Steve Sanders, and I mean, he's so eloquent and such a historian that he helped frame some stuff for us. But that was also the same week when we visited Walter, and serendipitously, Guinness Book called Walter while we were there. And that was like, just right place, right time, talk about opening up. And that was after we came back from the barn with the guitars, like, surreal.